Will the bushfires lead to recession? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I thought today we would have a look at this article from news.com.au, a massive blow, dark side to celebrity bushfire donations. And this is written by economist Jason Murphy. And I think it's a good starting point for us to think about the economic impact of these drastic bushfires we're having all over Australia. Now they're still ongoing. People are still fighting them. It is horrific what is happening. And the debate over what the causes are, who we should blame, where more funding is needed, will be ongoing. And hopefully there'll be a royal commission. But, there was one in 1939. After the January bushfires, and I intend to go through that video. I'll go through that commission notes with you all on a live stream after I meet a big project deadline in the next few days. But we'll see. We will see if they learned anything from the past. Now, another consideration, or something we need to think about, is will this affect the Australian economy, and how will it bring on a recession? Because everyone is saying, well, that's great. There's going to be more construction to rebuild. The government's even established a permanent body to facilitate the rebuilding, which the fact that it's permanent in itself is a little concerning. Once the government creates an organization, they tend to just grow and grow and grow. And that's kind of what you don't want, guys. You don't want government growing. You want it getting smaller. Now, you're saying, oh, but Florian, it's all insurance. But still, that cost to our civilization of rebuilding, that means that's money that could have been spent on other infrastructure. So we're just getting back to where we were, back to the same level. But even with that, there's still unintended long-term consequences, and I think we'll go through it here, guys. And you have to realize that when you think about these things, you've got to think about the opportunity cost of it. So if a window is smashed and you're forced to repair the window, that's money you need to use on that repair work other than something else, other than paying down debt, other than paying your mortgage or your food. The same thing happens on a macro scale for a country. So let's have a look here. The celebrity donations to Australia's bushfires are rolling in, but there's a dark side, and it will affect our economy for years to come. Australia has been dealt a massive blow with these fires. Even after the first green shoots come up through ashy forest floors, and even after burnt-out homes start to get rebuilt, the tourism industry will be suffering. And that's true. It's just plastering the media, the whole world. As he said, you've got every celebrity and their dog raising money, doing their bit to support the reconstruction and help the people here, which is a noble and fantastic thing. If you're interested in supporting it, one thing I would suggest, because so many people are sending food and furniture, and it's just flooding to these affected areas. Now they've got too much stuff. Either you give money, or you wait until 6 months down the road, when all of it's forgotten and we're all dwelling on the next thing, and you plan a family holiday to one of these remote communities. You go camping. You take the kids out there. You start bringing your tourism dollars to these areas to help the locals rebuild. There's a suggestion for you. Think about it. This is a problem because tourism is a huge industry. It generates $110 billion in economic activity every single year, according to estimates by the Tourism and Transport Forum. What's more, it has been a shining beacon of growth in our economy. With construction suffering, retail struggling, tourism has been surging ahead, and that adds much needed momentum to what would be an otherwise wobbly economy. And he makes a good point. Now let's bring up one of my favorite websites, the Observatory of Economic Complexity. And 110 billion on tourism. Our exports for the whole country were 243. Okay, so just nearly half, equal to half of the exports in Australia. So that's huge. That is huge. Could you imagine if our exports, half of them took a huge hit? But now, as Australian summer turns to horror and foreign embassies warn their citizens of danger, tourists are getting worried. Should I cancel my trip? On the Lonely Planet website, I see tourists asking for advice about changing or cancelling their trip to Australia. I'm really worried, said one poster, who's been planning to drive a camper van from Sydney to Cairns with his wife and child. This seems to be an unprecedented natural catastrophe. Well, yeah, I wouldn't be doing that trip now. Fires are getting, maybe start in Brisbane, mate. Fires are getting a huge amount of global attention, with celebrities worldwide raising funds. Just this morning, I saw Jamie Oliver tweeting about devastation. It's extremely kind of him to care, but I suspect that many Australians who run tourism businesses would prefer his millions of followers see another side of this country. And yeah, I mean, because for the international viewers, guys, the whole nation isn't on fire. You know, there's still parts of Australia where you can go to tourism. There's still parts of it that are doing fine. It's all good in many parts of the country. I know it looks drastic on these type of maps, but yeah, you know, you can still get on the Gold Coast. Bit of smoke blowing in. Meanwhile, US's ABC TV network tweeted something showing basically the whole of Australia on fire, and that's not helpful at all. I mean, yeah, that's it's good to show the scale of it, but I mean, it's not like all of Melbourne is on fire. What's going on? Australia has succeeded as a tourism destination because we're perceived as not only safe but also clean and green. Bushfires are turning that image to ash. Who would want to visit here now? Anna Wallens, spokesperson for the Tourism and Transport Forum, said the amount of attention the fires had caught globally was huge. We're currently working on a whole of industry action plan that helps showcase that Australia is open for business, she said. Infrastructure replacement and investment will be key, everything from water, power, roads, and national park facilities. Our priority is to support the businesses and communities that have been directly affected, highlighting how many great locations are unaffected and fabulous, and make sure the message to locals and international visitors alike is that we are open for business. So that's like I said, guys, plan your next family holiday to a recovering area. Just make sure you take cash, so you don't need to loot a petrol station, and keep water in the car, not like some of the other tourists. So the season we used to call summer. A big part of the problem is tourism is so seasonal. Summer is when foreign visitor numbers spike, as the next graph shows, and who wouldn't want to come to Australia in summer? A whole reputation is built around surf and sand and barbecues. The problem is that now we call summer fire season. Well, didn't we always call summer fire season? And come on, Jason, that hasn't changed much. When it is summer here, it is cold in the Northern Hemisphere and tourists start to flock. The colder it is, the more likely they are to visit us in our summer. Swedes and Finns are 3 times more likely to visit Australia in summer than in winter, or at least they were. Brits are also mad keen on coming here in summer. The number of UK visitors on holiday here traditionally doubles over Christmas and New Year's. Chinese visitors, our biggest market, also spike in summer. But why would a Chinese tourist come to Australia if the air quality is worse than in Beijing? According to the Victorian government's tourism marketing plan, Chinese visitors to Victoria spent $2.7 billion in 2017, representing year-on-year growth of 13.9%. And it's growth we rely on. Well, see, this is the danger. This is the danger when you have a nation that has very low economic complexity. OEC, we're 59th in the world. Let's jump over to the Harvard figures, the Harvard Atlas. What are we sitting at here? I think we're 93rd in the world with regards to economic complexity. If our tourism is equal to half of the exports of our nation, I mean, fantastic, our tourism is growing really well. But what does that tell you about other sectors? And he hasn't mentioned in here yet the potential impact to international students. Do you think this is going to affect people making their decisions on where to go when they want to study? And that is a big part of our universities. Some of our universities are dependent on international students for, for liquidity to keep them going. So It's that growth that we rely on. Nobody thinks tourism is going to fall to zero, but it could start to shrink, especially over summer. With so many other parts of our economy suffering at the moment, a slump in tourism is the last thing we need. After all, tourism counts as an export, just like sending wool or iron ore overseas. Foreign tourist spending on hotel rooms, taxis, and cruises brings fresh money into our economy, and that helps keep the Australian economy spinning and keeps us all working. Bushfires will have many impacts on landscape, species, communities. The hit to tourism is not the most emotional one, but it will be a long-running impact. The damage done to our reputation as a destination, and it will often hurt the very same communities that have been ravaged by the fire. Chinese tourists in particular were just starting to throw off their reputation as stuck in the cities and start spreading some love in rural communities. But if the country is seen as dangerous, any fledgling tourist business stuck in the bush will be at risk of going under, just when the local community can least afford it. So there you have Jason's take on it, and I think it's pretty obvious the potential impact of this, because these type of images will have an impact on people making decisions for the next few years to come. Usually plan your holiday ahead. And we're already seeing, we'll jump to another article here, of businesses telling the economic hit to the fires. So accommodation provider Aspen Group says it expects to take a $500,000 income hit after its New South Wales South Coast properties were affected by bushfires. Accommodation provider Aspen Group has forecast an income hit of at least $500,000 as bushfires wreak havoc on the New South Wales South Coast and drive holidaymakers away. The company is the latest in a number of growing businesses to have reported financial losses from fires in recent weeks, including fruit and vegetable grower Costa Group and Kangaroo Island Plantation Timbers. Bega Cheese, which has 2 sites at Bega in New South Wales, on Monday said its facilities had not been damaged, but employees and suppliers had been affected. Shares in that company suffered the biggest slide of ASX 300 companies as of 12:55 Australian Eastern Standard Time when this was written on the 6th, so 2 days ago. Bega shares were down 38.5 cents, or 8.91% to $3.93. Aspen owns residential, retirement and tourism park properties across Australia. So while its properties have not been damaged by fire, Aspen said business in the New South Wales South Coast properties, Barling Beach and Tweed Waters have been impacted. People on the South Coast have been told to leave the area, and many services have been cut as the fire threat stretches from the Victorian border to Batesman Bay. Aspen told the share market it expected revenue and net operating profit from the 2 properties to be impacted by at least $500,000. The longer-term impacts are difficult to predict, given the considerable damage to the region, including loss of houses and businesses. Insurance could recover some of the losses, according to the businesses, and shares in Aspen were last trading at $1.18. Other parts of the Aspen business have enjoyed a better than budgeted performance during the past 6 months, which would partially offset the loss, Aspen said. Aspen guidance for the financial year remains a 6.75 to 7 cents of underlying earnings per security and 6 cents of distribution per security. Insurer IGA on Friday said it expects to pay out roughly $400 million in natural peril claims for the next 6 months to December 31, more than half of its $641 million national peril allowance for the fiscal year. The insurance giant said it had received over 2,800 bushfire-related claims since the beginning of September, most related to residential properties, including 1,500 claims since the start of December. And there is another consideration, guys. What is this going to do to insurance premiums? Is it going to drive it up? It'll drive it up for everyone. So here we have, the tourism impact we're seeing, as Jason is predicting, from an international scale, just the impact these type of graphics and tweeting and publicity is having. We're seeing businesses reporting to the share market already that they are being hit before the fires are even under control. So we will have to see. Do you think this will lead us to a recession? Our GDP growth ain't looking too good. This is what do we have? $400 million in natural peril claims in the 6 months just to December alone. That's $400 million that is going to be used fixing damage, not adding to the growth of the economy. So guys, I think this is just going to be another arrow in the quiver leading towards a recession in Australia for next year. Let me know what you think, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan of the content I produce here and would like to help us produce more, we have a Patreon where you can make a small monthly donation. We also have the ability for you to join the channel and receive the benefits like extra emojis and badges when you make comments. We have affiliate links with Independent Reserve for crypto, Amazon and eBay for your consumer purchases. These are great ways for you to support content creators without incurring any additional costs. We have pocket squares we manufacture on the HeiseSays website, and we also have PayPal if you want to make a direct donation. Thanks everyone, have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye for now.